become a part of you. Every time you play far-reaching greatness, relentless you. Legends never die when the world's calling you. Can you hear them screaming out tonight?
Basically, here we come to the final part where a lot of the questions from the first piece are going to be answered, and you're going to get like a better, more technical, quote-unquote, understanding of what it actually means to be honest. So we've been hearing about honesty all along since the beginning of the day. And people have been a bit confused. What does it mean to be honest? What do I say? What if I do like this? Is it appropriate to say it? But what if it's like a girlfriend? If it's a fuck buddy? If it's the girl in the club? What about the environment? When is the right time to say what? And how do I know how the fuck I figure that out? And does it work for me? Or does it work for some other guy? But what if your night is like this and my night is like this? So many different questions, and they will be all answered now. Maybe I should be standing up, please. So, what it means to be honest. Our definition of honesty. Because a lot of people confuse this, a lot of people mistake this for radical honesty, like the book, or their daily definition of honesty, which for a lot of you it's actually abstract. A lot of you actually maybe not even have defined, you maybe not have even defined in your own mind how that definition of honesty. You haven't even defined what it means for you. So that we're all, in order for us to be all on the same page, and that we all have the same reference point, we define it now. Our definition, the social crime definition of honesty, like from now on when I say honesty, I only refer to exactly this, nothing less and nothing more, is this here. Our definition of honesty, expressing in the most concise, short, simple, accurate, inclusive way everything emotionally relevant to you in the moment. Is that clear? Is there anyone here who has not understood 100% what this means? Not 99. I'm not talking about 99. I'm talking about 100%. If you have even 1% of a doubt about what this means, I want you to tell me now. Is there any word here that you don't understand? Yes?
Would you express it even if it feels really uncalibrated?
The definition. Anything that is emotionally relevant.
It means yes.
Yes. Yes.
Even if it's not concise, because sometimes some people will talk a lot and we express things like super long.
That's where your part comes in the picture. Concise. How concise can you possibly make it in the moment? And that's your personal responsibility. Because only you know how concise, how short, how simple, how accurate, and how inclusive you can be in the way that you express things. And this is basically the whole practice of what we teach, is practicing being concise and secondarily being very aware of what is emotionally relevant. But they go hand in hand. And you will see how trying to be concise actually makes you more aware of what is emotionally relevant. Is that clear? Completely. Anyone else who has even one? Yes?
I'm a little bit curious what meaning with everything emotionally relevant, because it seems that it can be everything that happens to you that you have an emotional connection to.
Yes. So, in the moment, what feels emotionally relevant? In the second that you're talking, you have the girl in front of you, you're talking to you look at her in the eyes, and you have some emotions. Some things are quite intense, and some things are not. Some things might be there, but you can't even notice them. They're so small, they're so irrelevant, they're so low in intensity that your mind does not pay attention to them. So this is where we have to pay attention to what is emotionally relevant, to what is bothering you, to what is exciting you, to what is intense in the moment. I think relevant is actually a pretty good word to describe it. Emotionally relevant for you in the moment. Could you bring an example maybe where you find a discrepancy, where you don't understand what this word means? This is very subjective to everyone. The definition is quite clear, but it's very subjective. Only you know inside your head what is emotionally relevant to you. Only I know what is emotionally relevant to me. You understand that? There is the point where I can't go like more specific. Maybe for now. Maybe later we'll come up with a better definition. But for now, that is the best definition I can give you. So, yes?
So what language do you mean by expressing?
Expressing. Perfect. Everything. Your verbals, your body language, your eye contact, your whole being. That is what I mean by expressing. Usually we focus on the verbals. Like on the program we usually focus on the verbals because it's easy. Right? But expressing includes the whole spectrum of communications with no separation. You can't separate the body from the mind and the vocal cords and the eyes. It's like it's all one. It's all a unity, right? So we're talking about expressing with your full being. Either with your body, your tonality, your eye contact, your facial expressions, your whatever the fuck it is. Do you understand what expressing means? A behavior, an action, saying a word, touching, everything.
Do you mean in the context of an interaction? Or because in case it didn't made on the story? But is it in like, as I'm sitting here listening to you speak, I'm feeling this and that when I jump up and like speak and do everything that I'm feeling in the moment?
Are you feeling like jumping and doing this?
No, I'm not feeling like that.
Okay. Why would you bring it as an example?
That wasn't an example, but maybe I'm feeling something different.
If you actually do it, then you should do that. But do you think that there's anybody who actually feels that way? What chances, like on the percentage, what chances do you think,
No.
do you give it like realistically that somebody would feel this in a seminar room?
I actually did before because I ate, and when I get high blood pressure, I want to like have ADHD or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And that's how actually this would help your case. And that's how actually this same definition would help
Yeah,
that case.
absolutely.
Because you're having probably 100 different little things and emotions and thoughts going on in your mind. This helps you compress them instead of like 100 different little things in one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So instead of like having an erratic behavior and like going all over the place, you focus, you figure out what it is, and you try to express it in the most concise way. And from 100 little things spread out, it just becomes one. It's not about energy. You could have like 100 little things in your mind. You could go on 100 fucking cycles, and you could tell the person in front of you the same thing 100 fucking times, just in different words. And you just spread out your energy. You do the same thing 100 times. You basically convey the same emotion, the same message. You use a different sentence, just different words. And it's just like spending your like energy, it's like spreading it out and not having any effect. When we're talking about being concise, we're talking about gathering all those 100 different cycles of expressing the same thing in one. And you focus your energy and everything that you have in this one form of expression. And that's how it becomes powerful. In pickup, you've probably heard of that in terms of intensity is more important than energy. Like being energetic and all over the place, it's better to be intense. This is what it means. Is there anybody who doesn't understand anything else about that definition of honesty? Does anybody want to try to give an example of how you would do that? Yeah?
If I feel very tired,
Yeah.
I go to a club,
Yeah?
and I go to a girl, I tell her, I feel fucking tired, but I think you look sexy, what's your name? And if I'm very congruent and honest about it, she will see it.
Very important, exactly. That's pretty much what you would say. I mean, you can tweak it. You can take out the fucking part. You can be like, I feel ridiculously exhausted, ridiculously tired. And maybe I would personally take away the what's your name.
Okay.
Like another like little example of how this would contradict the interview mode questions, for example. Because guys go and ask stupid little shit. Where are you from? What's your name? They try to open the conversation with what's your name. They try to open the conversation by taking information, basically. Or where do you study? What is your work? It's like, do you like really give a freaking shit about the girl that you just met 5 seconds ago, about where the fuck she works and what's his status? Do you actually give a fuck? No. No. 99.9% of the situation, you actually don't give a fuck. It's not therefore emotionally relevant. So you don't ask this stupid ass question just for the sake of saying something. Do you get that? So I would take away the what's your name.
We're laughing because
Is that our game technique?
Huh?
You're like, I would take away the what's your name? You're like using our game of honesty.
What?
You're like
Our
using
game.
Our game. Our game.
What are we doing?
Technique of honesty.
What technique? What the fuck are you saying? What is the question?
It's like you're like I would change this. I would like do this differently and like take away what's your name because it's fucking stupid because 99% are not gonna be cared. And it's maybe true, yeah.
I'm not telling him what to do. I'm telling him what I would do. And I'm not saying you should do the same at all times. You only do what is emotionally relevant to you. Any example I give him is about what I would personally do and breaking down my patterns of thoughts, and only that. I'm not telling anyone at any point in time, no at all, to try to replicate any of the lines that you will hear me say tonight. Any of the conversations that I will bring up as an example, do not try to replicate it, because if it's not emotionally relevant to you 100%, chances are that it's not gonna be shit. And it's probably gonna backfire and put your interaction like one step backwards. Yes?
No, I was just gonna say like I think there is some value, at least for learning this, to say like this was your name, because like there's value to, I think, like I do as simple as possible and actually see if it works, because I do that when, let's say I have a shitty moment at the club and I see a girl and I'm just resisting and it's like okay, I'm accepting, and then and just what's your name, and actually you will get a good response because I'm so honest about the whole thing.
There is the acceptance part.
Yeah.
There is the acceptance part.
Yeah.
I did not mention it. But the acceptance part, because you said I accept the shittiness. This is what actually makes you accept shit. You say I will say what's your name, because I've accepted the shittiness, therefore the shittiness is not anymore emotionally relevant.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, just make it easy for yourself as well, try to like do some plans in the meeting.
Huh?
Just like, don't overthink it, just make, in the beginning, don't overthink like, oh, should I take a
In the beginning you might.
Just be easy.
In the beginning you might. This thing actually deals with that. Even, whether you're overthinking, no matter if you feel shitty, or if you feel grumpy, or you feel sad, or if you're exhausted, or if you're bipolar, or if you're fucking, I don't know.
Basically, what you're saying is like, I think it's okay to say, what's your name? Basically, it's okay. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is good.
Yeah. Great.
It is okay if you actually want to know her name, yes.
Fuck, man.
It's like it's not okay. It's not okay. Just kidding.
That's with me.
I have a question about this being honest. For example, you're in a relationship and it's a serious relationship, like you guys are just seeing each other and nothing else is not going on. And you just feel something from your partner might be not right and you don't feel comfortable about it. If you show that honestly, that how you feel about it, isn't that like, doesn't that show that you're insecure? Isn't that better just you avoid it? Right, show you that?
Dude, every guy in the fucking club is insecure, and but it's just...
Wait, it's not a conversation. The questions are for me, and this goes on YouTube. So please calm your fucking tits. I'm not... I'll be honest with you, I actually care more about the video. But I will answer the question, so again, make it concise. Make it concise.
Can you explain a little bit?
Tell me your question again in like the most concise, the shortest, simplest, most accurate, and most inclusive way that you can.
Basically,
Not basically. Basically is avoiding to figure out shit.
okay.
Basically does not go well with concise.
Okay.
Accurately.
In some point of a relationship, you feel insecure. Will you be honest about it and say it, show it, or you just try to change it in yourself, not showing it? Because even though you have a hard time by yourself?
You could do better with that question. You could do better. Try again. Well, let me try. Try again.
In a point of relationship, you might feel insecure.
Yes.
Do you show it or not? Will you be honest about it or not?
I don't know. Do you?
But I mean, will you be honest about it with that girl or not? Like,
I mean, I could tell you what I would do, but what do you think? What do you think? What do you and why?
Because you say that you guys saying that always being honest, maybe you would, but in my experience,
Example, what would you be insecure about? Let's do it with a real life example. You specifically, what would you be insecure about? About letting your girlfriend know.
Like in a relationship.
Yeah.
For example, if I see my girlfriend is flirting with another guy,
Yeah.
I might not feel okay about it. And if I tell her that I'm not feeling okay about it, first question is that being insecure?
Maybe.
So, will you still say it, even though it's being insecure? Or you would try just to avoid that feeling? I'm asking, what would you do?
I actually did that like a couple of days ago. Said exact same insecurity.
And you said it? Okay. So you didn't avoid that feeling? You just didn't like ignore this feeling and just fix it by yourself, not showing it to her? Like
It was scary as fuck. I tried.
Mhm.
I tried, took a notebook, wrote down my thoughts, tried to like figure out why the fuck I feel insecure. But then eventually I drove myself crazy to the point where I decided to call her and tell her.
Okay. And what was the result? Just being honest there, because this is what I experienced myself. I was like, I don't care, I just want to be honest about what I feel. And I did it. But the results, I was regretting it.
Okay, do you want me to like replicate the result? It's like, oh my god, baby, no, how would you think that? It's like, you're fucking perfect, why would I like go with another guy?
No.
That was the result.
At the end, didn't you rather that you wouldn't tell her that, or you still thought it was good that you told her?
What happens if you tell her?
Well,
How did you feel? Picture it. What would I'm your girlfriend, what do you tell me?
I don't feel.
Look at me, I'm your girlfriend now. I'm your girlfriend. Come here. Come on. I'm your girlfriend. Yes. Yes. Like this is something's bothering you. What is it?
I saw you flirting with another guy and I don't feel comfortable with this. And I thought it's better if I tell you.
What are you talking about when?
That night when we were at the bar together and I was talking to my friends, I figured out when we went to the toilet, you were flirting with some guys and you were touching them and shit. And I just didn't feel okay with it. And I have a question. If I would do the same, would you feel comfortable with it?
Oh my god, babe, I was just having fun. I was just like fucking around. I had no idea it was gonna bother you so much.
Exactly. Here, the explanation that the girl gives you, it doesn't change anything in me. And at the same time, I'm like, fuck, why did I say it?
I think you gotta go further.
Okay.
Because you're a bit pissed, right? I think there is something that you're not telling me. Is that all? It's like, I think there is something that you're not telling me.
Well, I think it was not just that, you being nice, because I know you, and I know that you're a nice person, but that was something deeper. What I saw there in the bar.
Yeah, I'm not sure, baby. I don't understand what you mean.
Well, I think you're pretending that you're stupid, or you're just stupid. I'm sorry.
You're not trying hard enough. I think you can do better than that.
Well,
You can do better than that, baby.
I feel you're not honest with me.
Look, it's like, I don't know how to tell this, but I've been feeling like you've been really for me. And I just want to get your attention.
Oh. And couldn't you just come up to me and tell me this?
I was scared of your reaction.
Well, I don't like that.
Here we go.
But I'm not getting the answer.
Maybe I love
Well, I don't care.
Do you get it?
But,
Sort of.
yeah, thanks.
It's because I'm not your girlfriend. So you actually gotta try it with your girlfriend. Because dude, I might be good at acting, but I really don't know.
I'm a
I
theater
have no idea why your girlfriend was rubbing one's dick on the fucking board. You gotta ask her. I don't
It
know.
was example. It's about a long time ago, and that time it has always been a question. Because after that, whenever something like that happens, I just don't tell them, because I'm scared of the explanation that they're going to give me. It's not changing anything for me. Like I'm not getting my answer, and at the same
What
time,
answer do you want? What answer do you want?
just I don't know, just the honesty.
I think
That's what they want too.
Just to put some perspective, I mean, I don't know why should be like unsure about that. But in my case, I'm on the other pole. I'm like I'm the other pole of jealous. I'm not jealous at all. So, and sometimes women get mad at me because it's like, oh, you're not jealous because you don't care. No, it's because I'm open-minded. It can come across like insecurity of, oh, maybe she will think I don't care about her. So you are like this, just be upfront. If you find a girl compatible, go with it. If she's not compatible with you,
Okay.
try another.
Okay. Not a bad answer. Not a bad answer. That was actually not easy for me. If it was another insecurity, oh my god, it would have been much funnier. You know why it was not easy with me? Because why it was not easy for me to actually do this, I was actually getting like a bit of tension. It's because I went through the same insecurity 3 fucking days ago.
Mhm.
Like the exact same fucking shit. You just have to do it.
Sorry.
You just gotta do that. You're gonna understand a bit better from the rest of the presentation what I mean. So you just gotta trust me.
But it just gets worse.
It's not supposed to be easy.
It is. It is easy. It's scary. Not scary, but it is easy. It is very easy.
But isn't
But
it
it
better?
can be very scary.
Isn't it better if you just let that feeling go and not showing it?
How did you let it go?
So you don't make it worse.
How did you let it go?
Just breaking up with the girl.
He would rather like break up with his girlfriend than tell her like maybe like his worst insecurity is he's gonna lose the girl to another guy. So he like instead he chooses to get to like kick the girl out of the house, like just not to like lose her to another guy. And then you know what the girl does the next day? She goes and fucks the other guy.
That's better than when she's with the other guy.
Yeah, it's not. Trust me, it's not. Alright, we can get back to it in the end. Alright, let's see.
Yo, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why do we express it in the most concise way?
It's a good question. Why do we express it in the most concise way? I've actually never thought of the answer, but it is very crucial. It needs to be in the most concise way. Because every time you don't do it in the most concise way, you risk creating more misunderstandings that you have to cover up later. The more clear you are in your communication, the less misunderstandings and the less talking and the less energy and the less expressing that you have to do. So you can spread it out in like 100 sentences by not being concise, or you can do the same thing in 2 sentences. I say this, you say this, we're done. It's about conserving time and energy. Most of the time. But this is it. This is the lazy mass method. It is literally the lazy mass method. You don't have to do 100 different things. You don't have to follow an algorithm. You don't have to do approach, open, hook, IOI, IOD, DPS, I don't know. You don't have to do any of this fucking shit. You don't have to keep track of the girl's eyebrows to see a sign on whether it's liked or not. You have to do one simple thing, and that's it. It's literally the lazy man's way. It's like the most energy saving, time saving, and effort saving approach that you could have. And ironically, it's the most effective. Yeah. So, what does it mean to be honest? What does honesty mean? I wish we could have like the definition somewhere else. But maybe we get back to it. But honesty means congruence. Is there anyone here who is not familiar with the concept of congruence? Is anybody here who doesn't know what congruence is? When your thoughts and actions and emotions and behaviors, like, everything is aligned. It's a very, it's a concept that is very well known for pickup. Now I'm not talking about things that you should have in mind. I'm talking about things that you already have an idea from traditional pickup. That honesty, this approach, our honesty, not general honesty, like our approach of honesty, takes care of naturally. So now I'm not telling you this is what you should remember. It's important. I'm not telling you remember of congruence, remember of emotional awareness, remember of empathy. I'm not telling you you have to remember of this. This is just a demonstration of how honesty already naturally, without you having to do anything extra, takes care of all those different things that I'm going to get into. So, honesty takes care automatically, already naturally, of congruence. This is a concept that we really are, most guys from the community know really well, and that's congruence. And what that means is that your actions, behaviors are aligned to your thoughts and emotions. And why is congruence important is because girls are like walking lie detectors. Our brains work quite different. Men, for example, utilize up to 7 times more gray matter than women, and women utilize up to 10 times more white matter, which means that they are very well tuned to their emotions. It means that they can pay attention to like really tiny, ridiculous details on your vibe, and they can tell. They can't tell. They can feel. It's like a sixth sense sort of. They can feel very accurately whether you're bullshitting, whether you're hiding something, whether you feel uncomfortable, whether you feel stressed, whether you're excited, better than you do. Way better than you do. You know, like if you hear this thing, it sounds like fucked up, but you know, like dogs like sniff the fear. Girls are like, don't. But they can smell your fear, they can smell your stress, they can smell your anxiety, they can sense everything that you sense better than you do. You know, it's like you put your finger in the cold water and you feel the cold. That's how the girls feel when you are being incongruent, which means how they feel really accurately when you are hiding something. So you might be feeling very nervous and stressed, but you go up to the girl and you try to be like, hello. And if you want a little example of maybe to feel that, bring in mind like this like typical sneaky, slimy salesman, this like disgusting guy who's like, he really sucks at sales, but he like just like tries very hard to sell you this like shitty ass product. It's like a Chinese copy. But he like tries to sell for like almost like the same price as the actual thing, and he's like tries so hard because he knows that the product is like bullshit, and then he's like tries real hard to sell you this thing. And like I think everyone can like picture at least like one guy like that, and you feel it. You feel that he's trying too hard. You feel that he's not being honest about the product. You feel that what he's trying to sell you is shit. You feel that it's not worth the price. You feel that this is a waste of your time. Well, that's how the girls feel when you try to pick up on them, but 10 times more. 10 times more, because they utilize 10 times more white mark. So they feel your bullshit incredibly much. They can sense incongruence. So this is, if that should be like, if I think it can already is, it is a pillar of pickup. Congruence is one of the principles that you just cannot sacrifice. The moment you sacrifice congruence, everything else you do is suboptimal. And that's why guys get objections, that's why guys get LMR, that's why guys get cock-blocking friends. Because maybe your girl might be a bit too hooked into the validation, maybe she's kind of like letting it go and like kind of like looking over your like little bullshit because she likes this little validation and shit. But her friend, who's out of the situation, who's like completely detached, she can see straight through your bullshit, completely objectively. And that's why although the girl might like you, the friend like senses your bullshit even better than her. That's why you have friends cock-blocking you. So that is one of the things that honesty takes care of, because it forces you to be congruent. because you have to say only, and not just say express. Let's focus on the verbals for now. You express only what is emotionally relevant. So you can't bullshit, you can't go into interview mode questions like we talked about before. You are not allowed by the principle to go and say something that you don't actually mean and you don't actually give a flying fuck about. So honestly, this principle forces you to be congruent. Can you please set the hard part? Thank you. Please. It forces you to be congruent. So this is a principle there that we completely 100% take care of by applying the definition of honesty. Expressing in the most precise way everything emotionally relevant. So you have to be 100% congruent. And congruence might sound a bit contradictory to some of you, but it is the most attractive trait. Women are sort of like leaves in the wind. They kind of go, they have their emotional certainty, they have their ideas, their beliefs, their opinions, whatever, but they will follow the person, either female or a male usually, who expresses more certainty, who has more certainty in what they're expressing. So when you have congruence, it doesn't matter what you're expressing. It could be sadness, it could be anger, it could be, it could be something else, it could be tiredness, but because you're 100% congruent, you're expressing something with 100% of certainty. And this is what people are looking for. People are looking for a certainty to anchor themselves to. This is what girls are looking for in the club. They're looking for this certainty to anchor themselves to. It's like a reference point. It's like the anchor of a ship, so it doesn't just like float wherever it gets lost. So you could be expressing whatever the fuck. You could be fucking suicidal, but if you're congruent to that, it is a certainty. You are expressing something with certainty, and that can act for the girl, for somebody else around you as a reference point for them to anchor themselves, and that's what people are looking for. And that's why congruence is so important. So we had guys in the program who would traditionally, like from traditional perspective, be ridiculously chody. Like ridiculously chody. I don't like the term. I don't believe in like chody guys. But from traditional pickup perspective, guys who are very maybe timid or nerdy or I just don't like the definition. But just very chody guys. I think every single one of you has a pretty good image of a chody in your minds. If you don't, look at the mirror. Means so. And we had really chody guys on program who went there and expressed something maybe they expressed some very nerdy shit. Sorry about that. Maybe they expressed something very sad, something very ridiculously angry. Or guys were screaming in the fucking club because they were so frustrated with themselves. Maybe they expressed something some ridiculous emotional vulnerability, good example, guys crying. Guys in the club, you do that, right?
Oh, good.
You cry like a little bitch.
Alright.
You didn't cry after you spit, huh?
Anything possible so I can find it?
Yeah, 1 second. So we had ridiculously chody guys who actually express really unusual shit with following this principle and being 100% congruent and expressing something with that full certainty, and they got laid. They got laid, they got fuck buddies, they got girlfriends, some of them got girlfriends later, and they got what we would call results. For me, by the way, I clear this up, for me results is not getting laid. For me, getting laid is like a little part of what you would call results. But for me, I don't count something as a result, except if I can. My definition of result is getting what I want, when I want it, in the easiest way possible. The easiest way possible, I mean, not putting mental effort, not emotionally straining myself, just not feeling like I have to try. So this is what actual results is. Not fucking going apeshit, fucking crazy, suicidal, just to fuck a random girl you met in the club for 30 minutes, that is not results. Results is getting what you want whenever you want it with the least amount of effort possible. That is the definition of results. And that's why results are not easily defined objectively, because it's very subjective and unique to each one of you. Each one of you wants deeply different things. And therefore, that is a good definition of results. How effortlessly you, specifically and uniquely, feel that you can get to your desires. Right? Next one, honesty. Again. Takes care automatically of emotional awareness. It basically helps you build that emotional awareness. Girls are ridiculously emotionally aware. Our brains, as I said, they work in different ways. So, men focus more on tasks. A man's brain can like stick on something for a while, kind of like tries to break it down and then go to the next thing. The girl's mind just follows the emotions. It doesn't necessarily stick to something very easily. And this is where the problem comes when we're talking about social interactions and pickup, that men try to follow the same mentality of solving a problem, making a tool, making a machine or something like that in those interactions. But that is where the fallacy is, that you actually cannot do that because you need that emotional awareness. You can't just like stick to something and create a plan from beginning to end on how to pull the girl. I will open her this way, I will isolate there, and I will deal with the friend this way, and then I will pull at exactly the second minute, and I will take her home, I will get the LMR for 5 minutes, and then break through the LMR by doing this technique, one step forward, 2 steps back, or something like that. You just can't do that. You can't apply the same mindset of planning shit and trying to solve it as a task. Because girls' emotions are fluctuating all the time. It's like all the fucking time. And no matter how well you would like come up with a plan or an algorithm or a structure, you would never be able to predict accurately the insane amount of variables that go inside everyone's fucking heads when you have like billions of fucking neurons and shit, to predict how she's gonna feel the next second. And the best way to actually deal with that, because we're talking about a fucking human interaction, about sex, about arousal, about desires, and not solving a problem, because that's not what it is to be emotionally aware yourself, is to allow your mind to flow through your emotions. So both you and the girl can be on the same page. And by following the principle of, again, honesty, we force ourselves by trying, and that's where the most concise comes in place. Because when we're trying to express something in the most concise way, we have to take a pause, slow the fuck down, go through our heads, and try to figure out what is the best word, what is the best way for me to express as accurately as possible what I feel. It literally forces you to take a pause, slow down, look at the girl in the eyes, figure out what's blocking you, figure out what desire there is under the blockage, and then tell her, I was shitting my pants, but I really wanted to meet you. You get it? Yeah?
Is this like what you call in traditional pickup, like having control of your emotions? Because
you don't have control. That's the irony. We're talking about having control of your emotions. You don't really have control of your emotions. You can only match them with the expression. Your emotions are changing anyway. In the girl's brains, the thoughts and the emotions change together. They go hand in hand, in pairs. They just like change all the time. But they are aligned. The thoughts and emotions are very aligned in the girls. With the guys, there is a weird ass delay. I can't explain why yet, but there is a weird ass fucking delay. So your emotions are actually circulating. They actually are. But your logic kind of like has a delay and it stays back a few steps. And that's where you have incongruence between like what you think you should do and what you emotionally actually want to do. Do you understand the difference? That's the funny thing. That's the funny part. Guys are like, oh, but mom, Chris, if I get this right, I'm honest, right? And I go to the club because I want to fuck, right? Yeah. So if this is right, and I'm honest, I basically go to the girl and say, hey, I want to fuck you. No. no, no. Just, no. This is the dumbest fucking shit I've heard in my whole life. Literally. The dumbest fucking shit I've heard in my whole life. No. There is a difference between I think I should be trying to fuck you and I want to fuck you. You don't say I want to fuck you if you don't 100% feel it and mean it. If you don't have a fucking boner in your pants and you're like borderline ready to rape the girl, you don't say I want to fuck you. Because I want is a very strong word. It's a very strong word. The words I need, I want, should, they are very strong words. So you don't use them except if you actually 100% mean them. But if you go up to the girl and you are aroused and you're fully present in the arousal and there is nothing else in your mind, there is no fear of judgment, there is no fear that you might not get your dick up, there is no thought about you leaving the fucking oven on. You don't think about your mom telling you that you're not good enough. sorry, I was like, it wasn't intense enough because I was looking at you. It wasn't intense enough because I was looking at you. If you're not thinking about all that shit and all you have 100% in your mind is that you want to fuck the girl, then you say, you look at her in the eyes and you go like, I want to fuck you. And it will work. It will happen. Alright? Next one, because it was a good question earlier about empathy. Oh, but you don't read the signs of the girl, you only focus on yourself, right? Yes and no. Now what happens is that you all naturally have empathy. There is this thing called the mirror neuron. It basically allows you to tune in to whatever the fuck the other person is feeling, because they're doing it all the time. And you also have it, you also have the right amount of neurons there. It's just like a bit dead and you have to learn how to use it. The mirror neuron allows you to feel what the other person is feeling. And the more clear your mind is, the more present you are, the better you are to naturally feel what the other person is feeling. And that's an ability that every single one of you, I don't know, maybe not psychopaths or sociopaths or whatever, but if you're a normal person, that is something that is hard-coded, hardwired in your existence. You have that naturally. The problem with the guys in the pickup community is that they have it naturally, but they don't realize it, so they try, with logical thought, to replicate it. Which means that they have to think of more shit, stress themselves more, and therefore block their actual empathy more. By trying to replicate empathy, you block your empathy. So, you don't just focus on yourself. It happens naturally. You start by focusing on what is emotionally relevant, and by putting it out there, you just get it off your chest. It empties your mind. And then, once you're calmer, once you're present, once you are here and there, and wherever the fuck you are with the girl, and you are actually feeling and focusing on the girl and yourself, this comes up after a while naturally. You can't force it, you can only roll with whatever the fuck yourself is throwing at you, surf the wave of your own emotions, and then eventually the wave takes you out to this nice place that is called the beach. Empathy, natural feeling, natural empathy, natural calibration. That is actual, real calibration. The best way of calibration. There is no better way of calibration than that. Nature gave you that. Boundaries. Boundaries. This same principle of honesty takes care of boundaries. And what do we mean by boundaries? Like a lot of times in pickup, you will tell people. You'll hear people tell you that you have to tell your girlfriend that's coming to this. You have to show the boundary. Otherwise, you're a loser or some shit like this, right? Boundaries is something that also takes care of itself when you express yourself naturally. So you actually do it the moment it becomes emotionally relevant to you, something that your girlfriend is doing that is bothering you, instead of waiting until she has to grab another dude's dick in front of you for you to actually tell her that, right? So you don't just wait and let the emotion pile up, and because that's quite unhealthy. You just tell her immediately, the first moment that you actually notice it, the first moment that you feel even a little bit uncomfortable, you express what makes you feel uncomfortable. And that is the same with a random stranger that you meet in a nightclub. It doesn't need to be your girlfriend. Dude, it doesn't need to be your girlfriend. It can be the one night stand girl in the club. And it might be, I don't know, testing your patience or something, just poking you. And that's why girls give you shit tests. Because they actually are trying to make you be honest, and they're trying to see how far they can push it before you actually are putting your emotions out there. They don't realize that you are feeling bothered. When a girl is like fucking with you and being bitch or whatever, giving you attitude, she doesn't realize that you are being bothered by her behavior. Or she might even be doing it like subconsciously, deeply, and she's just doing it because she wants to force you to be congruent with your emotions. She wants to force you to actually express your frustration. It's very typical that a lot of times like I will just like try to be calm when girls are doing shit, and I don't feel comfortable with it. And then in the end, I just like, you will probably see the infield. The infield I'm gonna show, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen that infield ever. I just know that it was shot, but I've never watched it. At some point, I kind of lose my patience, and I actually kind of like explode in the girl's face. And I'm like, no, I think I said something like, shut the fuck up, like, what the fuck are you doing? I was just really pissed. That's because I was suppressing it. I wasn't realized that the emotion was coming. And then it piled up to the point where I had like no other option, just like exploded. Ideally, you don't want it to happen. Ideally, you want to express everything as it's coming so it doesn't pile up. Because when the emotion piles up and then it just explodes in your face, it's not pleasant. You take care of boundaries because as soon as something that makes you feel uncomfortable happens, you express it. So you can be the girl that just met, and you can be like, hey, listen, I know, like we had a really good time. I'm really enjoying your company, and I'm a bit worried that this might fuck up our whole evening. But I really want to tell you that what you're doing right now just pisses the fuck out of me. It's good, you can say that. Or you can be even better. You can go more concise. I feel uncomfortable by that behavior, and I'm not sure why you're doing it. So can you please explain to me why? That is an even better way, more concise. And that's how we gradually go more concise and shorter and simpler, more inclusive, more compressed, to the point where we're just very 100% ridiculously well aligned with everything that we'll feel in the moment. Do you understand that? So that's how boundaries take care of themselves. So you don't have to wait for your girlfriend to cheat on you until you tell her that, honey, this pisses me off. You know, you don't have to wait for that point to come. You can solve it way earlier, and you can have the peace of your mind. Phones, please. Next one. Dissolving insecurities and limiting beliefs. Somebody talked about the insecurity of his girlfriend being flirty with other guys. This is how you dissolve it. There is no fucking way, there is absolutely no way to know whether your fear is true until you either experience it or you process it. You feel it 100%. And usually that fear involves another person. Not always, sometimes you might be, I don't know, it might be an experience. You might have a fucking car accident and you're afraid you're gonna die or something. But when it involves another person, the best way to dissolve that insecurity is to actually tell them. Because that's how you get back feedback. That's how you dissolve and resolve the misunderstanding. So before we had the little play about the girlfriend and the boyfriend, you don't know why your girlfriend is doing what she's doing until she actually tells you. Now, if you don't feel convinced by her response, you can tell her, I do not feel convinced. She might give you a response until you're convinced. Until she actually covers that insecurity. Sometimes maybe the girl is actually hiding something. Sometimes the girl might not be expressing her shit in the most concise way. And that's why you can keep telling her, I do not feel convinced right now. Or I still feel uncomfortable, I still feel like there is something bothering me. And it could be something from your side that you're not seeing that you have to put out there, or it could be something from her side. The only way to find out is to keep following that process. So there is a decent chance that your girlfriend might be doing that because she doesn't feel like she's getting enough attention from you. Or because she might not feel satisfied by your sexual performance. There's only one way to find out, and that's how to talk about it. This is just the most efficient way to talk about it. Because you need to have the exchange of information between the two people. You can never predict all the scenarios in your head. You can never actually 100% with accuracy predict and understand what the other person's intentions and motives and thoughts and emotions are until you interact with them and help each other find out. Yeah, and insecurities and limiting beliefs are basically the same word, the same thing, the same concept. So you could have a limiting belief that you're not good enough for the really hot girls, the stars, the 9s and the 10s, right? So you can go and, we had a student who did that, well, not one, we had multiple students who did that on program. They go up to the girl and they tell her at some point in the interaction, actually, usually very early, they tell the girl, I don't feel like I'm good enough for you because I'm intimidated by your appearance, by your looks. Hey, what did you tell the girl? Do you remember the exact words?
I can't remember the exact words, but it was something along the lines of that. I feel like in the past I would have considered you too good for me. And then she cracked up laughing.
Yeah.
And then tells me later on that she was feeling that I was too good for her. And she's like really funny on. Like she was having the same insecurity that I had. And we're both having it at the same time.
And there's only one way to find out, is to actually tell her. There's only one fucking way to find out. What else? Do you remember now a good example of like how you dissolve insecurities? Like I had the same insecurity about my girl, like flirting with other guys and shit, and that got resolved. That's like the most recent example I can remember. Then
my insecurity is around you. Like I was often in my head a lot when I first started working for you, right? And then I would express exactly that I was like intimidated or whatever, because like strong frame or whatever. And then the more I've expressed that, the more
comfortable you felt, and the more we came on the same page.
Exactly.
Yeah, that applies with everyone, like including your fucking friends. So if you feel insecure about your friend having a bigger dick than you, if you feel insecure about your brother fucking more girls than you, you just tell them, hey, I feel like sometimes I'm comparing myself to you too much because I don't feel I'm good enough since you're doing this better than me. Or you seem to be doing better at this area than me. They might teach you. They might actually tell you what the fuck they're doing and they're so good at it. And that's how you deal with insecurities and limiting beliefs. And the next one is effective communication. I mean, I don't even think I need to get into that. I think I'm kind of like going across the point how this principle of honesty takes care of effective communication. There is literally no better way to communicate. And it's not something that you do, it doesn't go like 0 to 100 in one day. It's practice. You saw Florian Zinfield, and maybe he's like, a random number, like 70% honest. Probably is the actual number.
Yeah.
And maybe he's like 70% honest. It is the skill of being concise in your expression that you are practicing. But it's only one thing. And once that starts becoming a habit, it just becomes easier and easier. And then you go from 70 to 71% and 72% in the next interaction. And maybe you reach a point in the night where you're like 100% super in tune with your emotions and you feel like Bradley Cooper and fucking Limitless and everything happens and the girls are like fall on your knees and sucking me, you know? You might reach that point. And then maybe your baseline is lower, so the next day you go back to 72. You don't go back to 70, you go back to 72. Then the next night you go and you reach 100 again. The next day you go back down to 73 or 74. And that's how you permanently raise your baseline. That's how you permanently raise your self-esteem. You guys, not if, you guys know what it is like to be in state. Everyone has been at least once in their fucking life in flow, where everything seems to roll and there are no thoughts in your head. It's not that there is no thoughts in your head, it's that your thoughts and your emotions are running through your head in the same speed, they go hand in hand. The reason why you have thoughts is because your emotions are circling around and your thoughts is like staying behind. And what you hear in your head, when you hear thoughts, is like the echo of like the fucking thoughts staying behind the emotions. But when you're in flow, when you're in state, thoughts and emotions go hand in hand together all the time. And they go so fast that you can't fucking hear your thoughts anymore. And you can actually reach that point permanently. You can reach that point where you are in constant flow 100% of the time. Just by practicing this principle. Let's see what is the next. I don't remember shit from my presentation. I totally winged it. I was not prepared for that, and I have no idea what the next one is.
Can I have a question?
Yes.
Would you say, because you was speaking about this earlier, and you told me like you call that like the delay, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that this is because like guys in general like wait, now I'm feeling a bit nervous, but yeah. Like guys in general, like because they perceive their emotions as bad, or like the bad emotions bad. Like for example, like sadness. I used to have a lot of problems with sadness. So, but I used to view it as because I thought that was bad. Something's allowed to be bad, so my emotions are bad, and that is bad. But it's really not.
Yes, that is a very good point. That is actually a fucking amazing point.
Because
that is an amazing point. Yeah. Not all your emotions have a delay with your thoughts. You were taught from a very early age, by accident, by society, parents, all your environment where you grew up, that specific emotions are not okay to express. So what you do is, you're a little kid, you're 5 years old, you run around, and then you bang your head on the fucking wall, because you're a stupid 5-year-old. And you start crying, because that's what fucking kids do, they fucking cry when they bang their fucking head on the wall. But then your mom comes, because she's like fucking stressed as fuck from her work, and she would rather take some Xanax right now than hear you crying. But she ran out of Xanax, and she doesn't want to hear you fucking cry, because it's causing her a headache. So what does she do? She tells you, man, don't cry. If you are a grown-up man, if you are a man, you shouldn't be crying right now. And then she scars you for life, she fights with your self-esteem, and goes back to sleep. And goes back to fucking sleep. It's because we were basically, especially men, we were basically taught from a very early age that specific emotions are not okay to express. It's easy for you to get in flow and get in state with positive emotions because nobody told you that it's bad to be happy. Nobody told you that it's bad to be excited and positive and fucking butterflies and rainbows. So when you're fucking happy and excited and all these like positive emotions, it's easy for your thoughts to catch up with them and run together hand in hand inside your mind and just spread that nice electric current all over your neurons and then put you in fucking flow. But when you're in a bad emotion, when you're in like negative emotion, you were taught that it's not okay to express it. The problem is, you were basically told that it's not okay to have it. But that's impossible. So what you're doing instead, you're suppressing your expression, but the emotion is still there in the back of your mind. You are taught that it's not okay to feel bad, which is impossible because you just can't do that with emotions. You can't avoid them. You have to feel them. But what you try to do instead, you try to not express them. You put up the front, you put on a mask, and that's where the delay starts happening. That's where the fucking gap starts being created between the thoughts and the emotions. So you still feel bad, and your thoughts are fucking trapped into this fucking delay, but you just can't express it. So your mind gets stuck there forever. It's like imagine a computer running all those like background tasks, and you open the task manager and you see Google Chrome eating 4 gigabytes out of your memory. That's literally your bad emotions that you didn't express. They're eating up the fucking RAM in your mind. So you just slow yourself down day by day by day. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like when you talked about being a natural, this is actually how shit is supposed to be the whole fucking time. This is how you are supposed to be. You're supposed to be flowy from the day of your birth until now. You're supposed to be flowy, and completely at ease and completely in acceptance and completely feeling okay with everything. That is how shit is supposed to be. And you're living your life in a weird fucking way where your thoughts are stuck in the past, in some emotion that you didn't express, release, experience, call it whatever. But your actual life is moving on. And your brain is stuck there, like just, and you have, it's like if you've ever thought that you have like some mental fog, it's basically this part of your brain being locked into that emotion that you haven't expressed in the past. And the problem is the more time you pass between like when the negative experience happened, when you first experienced negative emotion, the more time you pass, the harder it becomes for you to re-access the emotion, go back and express it. So the more time you just like let it be, the more the fog in the mind grows. It's literally having a part of your mind like locked down. It's a resource that is there, but it's just not available to you directly. So especially like people with with massive amounts of trauma from the childhood, please be careful with the camera. With people with massive amounts of trauma from childhood, they can be very dysfunctional in an adult life because they literally cannot utilize maybe 90% of the fucking brain. It's locked down and it has become this like inaccessible fog, and they're just like stuck there. So they're trying with 10% of their mind that they have directly available. They're just trying to cope with whatever is going on in their everyday lives. And that part of the brain that is still directly accessible just becomes ridiculously hyperactive because it has to take the workload that the rest of your brain cannot take because it's not directly accessible. And that's when you start getting stressed. That's when you start, that's when shit like really goes bad. You're not supposed to feel stress. You're supposed to feel stress maybe 0.001 of your life in a life or death situation. Life or death situation. Like less than 1% of your life. And we're feeling stress maybe 97% of our fucking time. Which is completely fucked up. It's completely fucked up. I mean, I could like keep going on a fucking run, but it's this stress that triggers a lot of diseases. It's not like people talk about genetic diseases and shit like that. It's not the genetic disease that you inherited really, is that the stress actually triggers the gene. And if you weren't feeling that insane amount of stress, you would probably not get the disease. But I don't need to get that. That is like for another topic for another time. I just want to get back to the no effort. No effort, no stress, not trying, just being constantly in state and flowing, happy, and everything is fucking perfect. It's like exactly the way it's supposed to be. But that's how you get there. By practicing being concise in your expression, you literally start forcing the thoughts and emotions to just start matching each other. And the more you do it day by day, they just match each other and then they go hand by hand. And that's how you get yours separately, because that's how shit is supposed to be. Oh, that's the last one. No effort. No fucking effort. Questions? Come on. Questions? Yes.
How to get better at being concise? Because I think that's something I struggle with a lot. Is it just practicing it and consciously thinking like, okay, be more concise?
It might be very hard in the beginning, depending on how much piled up should you have in your mind. For some people, it can be very hard. This is the only thing in your life that you actually cannot skip the effort. Being concise. Give me an example of how you would be more concise.
I guess what I mean by being concise is usually just when I'm talking to people, I tend to beat around the bush too much and not get straight to the point.
Yeah.
So, and I've kind of become aware of that, and that's something I want to improve. So now, like when I go out, just talking to people in general, I try to get more to the point.
Do you want
even right now, I feel like I'm beating
game?
around the bush. Even right now.
Maybe.
But I'm thinking, like, is the best way to improve it just to always focus on that when I'm in interactions, like be more concise. Or maybe because I'm constantly thinking be more concise, that's somehow.
You say that. You say, oh my god, I'm like trying so hard right now, but I'm like such I can't express myself. Oh yes, I'm kind of doing it. You get it?
Yeah.
Well, like here comes the order game. Like what I like to do is when I talk to somebody, I look at them in the eyes, and I force myself to look at them in the eyes. Because when you look at somebody in the eyes is when it is the hardest to bullshit. When you look at someone in the eyes is when your brain is like there. That's like that is the moment where you like exchange information. Because when two animals like look at each other in the eyes in the kingdom is like the animal kingdom is like it means like it can mean a few things. It can mean I need help. It can mean I want to fuck you. It can mean I want to fuck you up. So when you look at somebody in the eyes, it's something. It's one of those three. I don't know. Maybe there's more that I can't think of right now. But it's those three. Like I need help. I need something from you, or I would like something from you. Is I want to fuck you, or I want to fuck you up. So this action of looking at someone in the eyes, it forces your emotions to kind of like catch up with thoughts.
Yeah, I'm bad at that too, so maybe that would help.
So that is like my little outer brain trick to actually help yourself be more concise. When I look at someone in the eyes, it's very hard to bullshit. And I'm very attentive to the language I use. I think I told you, for example, earlier, I do not use the words want and need, except if I really mean them. I need is a very strong word. You don't, if you say I need, you really better mean it. Because it can really mess up your mind. If you're not attentive to the language, the thoughts stay behind. What do I need? I need food, I need water, and that's it. I don't know, maybe something else. I need fucking air to breathe. But other than that, there's not really many things that I need. Alright? So, you don't say I need, you say, I would really, really strongly like to have that. Or, I want. I want is also a very strong word. You don't say I want until you fucking want it. Until your brain is like ready 100% focused only on that thing that you want. But if you are at that point where your brain is focused 100% on the thing that you want, trust me, you're not gonna need to say want. You're gonna be getting it.
So you're at 100%, is that when you're in flow?
Yeah.
Okay.
But even in flow, you might not necessarily be 100% because there's usually always some hidden patterns from the past and shit. I mean, probably you will never, ever be like 100% completely certain about something. You could be 99.99999, whatever, it's good enough. But the most that you can get out of it, the most concise that you can get. Anything else?
Yes, one more question. You said that when you go out to the club and be honest, the next day you're going back down to like your baseline, but it's like improved with like 1%. You said like first like 100%, then it goes back. You said like when you go to club, you start, trying to be honest. Then you said like the next day it goes like down a bit. Then it's like a bit better than before.
Yeah.
Then it continues to go up.
Yeah.
What happens? Is this something that's good to do that you recommend to do in between the nights? Because like some meditation to like. Because after a night...
You know what you have to do, and I gave it to you because you're a former immersion student, but I can't say it in public.
Okay.
This is what happens. Every day.
1 second, Chris.
More.
Chris.
Yeah, what?
Didn't get it.
It's fine. It's not a big thing. But that's what happens every day. And it just constantly raises your baseline, and this is the most effective way to raise the baseline. This is the most effective way to raise your self-esteem, to get more in flow, to get more in touch with your emotions. Call it whatever, this is the best way. For everything. I sound like Trump.
What's the question?
Now it's like something to do in between the nights.
This is something that you don't do in the night. This is not something you do in the club. This is a way of being. This is something you breathe in and out every single fucking second of your life. This is something that you do with every single person you meet, even if the only thing that you say is hi. By the way, I don't say hi ever because I don't mean it. Yeah, or excuse me, I never mean it. I never say excuse me because I really don't mean it either.
One more question. One more. So it's like, since this is about techniques and stuff, and I really don't like the techniques, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Since you're not sure what you want to say, don't you think that techniques can like help you find your honest way of approaching? Like, and make it maybe like a little bit of a map somewhere.
What map?
It's like, before.
What map? There is no map.
No, and I'm like.
You cannot have a map.
Like,
You can only trust your emotions second by second. There is no map. The moment you try to find a map, yes, the map might give you some awareness that short term might be helpful into getting what you think you want to get, but long term, it sets you back. You get it? A map is only a temporary, short-term solution for getting to a suboptimal goal. Any map will long-term set you back. Is that clear?
Yes.
So yes, it can help you short-term to get something that seems like it's what you want. What you want, not. Never. Never. Yeah, oh yeah, sure, yes.
So to summarize, what you were saying was like, this is what you should do. This that you mean by like practicing honesty as you defined it.
Yeah, with only that definition. I'm not talking about whatever society tells you or their book Radical Honesty tells you. I haven't even read the book, I've read part of it.
Being as concise as possible or expressing what you feel in the moment.
That is the only definition of honesty for me. The best I can give right now. Maybe in the future we come up with a better one.
And what you were saying was like by practicing this every day, in every interaction, where you are, that's when you will become more like, more on stage.
Natural.
More natural.
Yeah. What is the question?
Hey, was that the summary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the summary. Yes?
It's not a...
You were in Sopot, right?
Sorry?
You were in Sopot. You had a good question in Sopot, I still remember it. It was a really good question.
Well, it is not a question, it's just a comment. I see like a change of paradigm here. Because normally, like, men were seen like, okay, yin yang. You see, like, women are like, okay, they are in tune with their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are here and there, like, the emotions come and go and they change all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're seeing as these men, I don't mean boys, like men, are seeing they should like be in control of their emotions or be in control of situations. So women were like holding on to this figure of men in tune with like who can control their emotions and and respond to the situations.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying here, okay, yeah, women are like that, and they stick to men that, on the contrary, are not like stoic, like they're my emotions, but I control them. But on the other hand, are like expressing, communicative, even vulnerable.
If I get the question right, you're asking.
It's not a question.
If the men are able to, if the men are basically become completely tuned to the emotions, don't they become like the women? And then why would women need the men if they're like tuned to the emotions? Something like that?
Yes.
All right. It's because men actually have the ability to stick more to plan, which will be essential for survival, hunting, creating shelter, something like this. Now, the ideal scenario is where you have a man who is doing all those things and a woman who is always by his side, and the woman is being, since he's so emotionally flowing, she is being the perfect feedback loop for the man to find the discrepancies when he's not in tune with his own emotions. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fuck. So this is the first time I formulated that. So, yeah. What did I just fucking say? The woman is the perfect feedback loop for the man to know when he's not in tune with his emotions. Do you get it?
Yeah.
And that's why pickup, like that's why what we're doing, practicing interactions with women and being social and dating, is one of the best feedback loops for you to find your patterns. Not just about girls, but about everything. Because every time you're not emotionally in tune and you express it to a girl, she's gonna provide you with something, some other sort of expression, her own intuition, for you to balance that out and come back to your own balance. And that's why this is such a powerful tool to actually get to the point where we're all in perfect tune with our emotions, where women are there not as a fucking object or a goal, but as an equally important part of our life to support us in solving our own discrepancies and becoming better men. Cool. Alright. Hey, how's the ADHD going there? You good?
Shut the fuck up.
I mean, he tried. It's not very concise, but A for effort.
What?
A for effort, A for... It's not very concise to tell me to shut the fuck up, but it's an effort. Yes. Next.
Yeah, so by doing this, do you go like consecutively deeper and deeper?
Always. Always.
Like that's what's gonna happen because I feel I will have trouble expressing like what I feel deep down inside.
Mm-hmm. You just keep going deeper. It's like this thing. Just go up and up and up and up. So deeper and deeper and deeper into your own self. And that's like a fucking PD with pickup. It can be such a powerful tool to actually tune better ourselves and become better and build ourselves to be like stronger and more emotionally attuned and emotionally aware and empathetic. Just to become men. And it's actually the way that it's been done all this time. It's setting us back, just massively, because the way that pickup is done, it just encourages you to stick to the thought and ignore the emotional side. So it creates bigger delay between the thoughts and emotions. It literally sets you back, the way it's been done. Yes? Huh?
I will try to be concise. Because I tried to formulate the questions in my head first. But my question is...
Look at me in the eyes. And slow down, like pause, look at me. Tune into me. And start word by word. Don't try to make a whole sentence, just word by word. What is the question?
Many things we do it from a ego framework. And sometimes it seems like at first we have one reason for doing it.
You can do better. Start again. More accurate, more inclusive, more precise. Ego and framework are slightly abstract. Maybe you can replace them with something better. Start again.
You might think that you want one thing, but actually you want to hide something else. Like for example, you trying to get sex because you're lonely.
Yeah.
But the ego thinks that you want sex, but actually you just want to cover your loneliness.
Very well. Yeah, exactly. What is the question?
Like, how do you handle this? Because that's not really the truth, or like.
What truth? Start again with the question. What is the question? Again, I mean, you're doing well. It was better. It was better.
How do you handle this discrepancy when you might realize this is not the actual thing you want?
Yeah.
Or you might think that it's.
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
Handle what? What do you mean by handle? I don't understand the word handle in this case. What do you mean by handle? You're not concise enough for me to understand it right now.
For example, you're meeting a girl and you think that first thing you would do is to
fuck her?
Yeah, for example, fuck her or get company or whatever. Doesn't that
So your dilemma is, do you fuck her first and cuddle afterwards, or do you cuddle first and fuck afterwards? I don't know, you can do both.
I think what he's trying to say is, how do you use...
I know what he's trying to say. I know what he's trying to say. Again.
Concise.
I I think we failed on this question.
Again, ask the question. Look at me. Word by word, what do you want? What is your question?
In the eyes.
Here. Here. Here, not the ceiling. The ceiling doesn't have the answer. You have the answer, but the question is addressed to me, so I need to understand you, not the ceiling.
Yeah, of course. How do you handle your loneliness? I don't know how to phrase the question. I'm sorry.
He's Sweden.
How do you, he's getting to a point. No. He's getting to a good point. I mean, you're in Sweden, so that might be a bit harder. But how do you handle your loneliness? I don't know, tell me. How do you handle your loneliness?
It's not how you handle your loneliness. It's that you have this other thing that you think is the main. You use something to hide your loneliness, but you're not fully aware of it.
Yeah, right.
So if you know it's the loneliness, you can try to handle that. But if it's covered by something else.
I know, right? How do you figure that out?
I don't know. The mind can sometimes.
Did you ever try to have this conversation that you're having with me with a girl? Did you ever tell a girl, you know, I have this thing in my mind that's been bothering me and I don't know how to find a solution to this. Sometimes I'm wondering if I want to fuck girls or if I'm just lonely. Have you ever actually tried asking a girl?
Yeah.
Or expressing your concerns about this issue to a girl?
Yeah.
You know what most probably is gonna happen? You know what response you're most probably gonna get? Oh my god, me too. Oh my god, you're also lonely? Holy shit, let's fuck. And couple. Or couple and then fuck. Did you get your answer? Don't tell me your concern. I mean, yeah, we can be friends. We can. I can grab a beer with you. You want me to grab a beer with you? I'll gladly grab a beer with you. I will legitimately grab a fucking beer with you. Just say, do you want me to grab a beer with you or no?
What?
I mean, you're expressing your concern to me, and I can feel your loneliness. I will gladly grab a beer with you if you want. You want to grab a beer?
No.
Perfect. After the seminar, we can go for a beer. No problem. If you don't change your mind. If you change your mind, I would like to do something else.
Okay.
But have you ever told a girl this exact thing?
Something similar, yeah. But it's not very concise. That's the problem, because it takes a lot of work to express some of this.
Nah, it doesn't take that much work. It's scary, but it doesn't take that much work. It is easier than you think, it just feels scary.
So how would you phrase
The same way you do.
How do you handle your loneliness?
I don't know, ask the girl.
Get a dog.
She will tell you, oh, sometimes maybe get a dog or I use my dildo, but it just doesn't feel complete. What could they use to replace my dildo, English?
Socialize.
How would they replace my dildo? To not feel loneliness. You get my point? Does everybody get my point? You express your concern to the girl, and she might come up with a solution, and you might come up with a better one, and then she might come up with a better one, until you realize you have to fuck. Both of you at the same time. You realize it, and then it goes like, but something like, I think you get it, right? And then you don't feel lonely because you fuck and then I don't know. Was it concise enough? It's like the penis and there's the vagina, and then you can chill and just like cuddle in the bed. And then you don't need to be concise anymore. You just chill. And you don't need to be lonely. You don't need to do anything, you just chill. Yes, anything else?
What is your definition of emotion?
I don't fucking know. That's one thing I can't give you a fucking definition to.
I read somewhere, I think it's Eckhart Tolle or something.
You cannot define it. You just cannot. Emotions On the brain, like in brain waves, what the fuck are they called?
Frequencies.
Whatever, the fucking brain scans, right? Yo, who the fuck is talking? I'm gonna beat someone today. Who's talking? Shut the fuck up, sorry. I kinda mean the sorry, kinda don't. Anyway. Emotions, when we put brains, people in fucking scans, cannot be defined because they're not the exact same. You cannot pinpoint an exact circuit that is the exact same in every fucking person. But they can be similar, they look similar. So in one person, the brainwave scan sadness looks kinda similar to the next one, and kinda similar to the next one, but they can never look exactly the same. So there is no definition for emotion, at least for me now. But if there was a definition of emotion, I would probably not need to be here. I would define the emotion logically with my thoughts, and then it would be perfectly fine, and I would not need to do anything. But I don't think you can actually define an emotion, because it's something unique, personal, and experiential. The only thing that you can do is allow your thoughts to catch up with the emotion. Ironically, when you're at that point where your thoughts and your emotions are aligned and go together hand in hand, you won't care about this question. The only reason why you're asking me this is basically because you haven't experienced it yet. Because if you had, that question would be irrelevant. And that is thought trying to catch up with emotion by more thought. This question is counterproductive. Understood?
So thoughts come after the emotion, or take them hand.
What?
Thoughts come after the emotion.
It's not a race, it's not like, oh, I'm running here and then the thought is like behind, like, fuck that. No, it's like, it's that in your brain, they're just not aligned. The thought with the emotion are not completely, they're like a bit out of place. The emotion goes a bit here and the thought goes a bit here, and then they have to like sync a bit more and a bit more until they like, you know, both hemispheres work in cooperation together.
I thought the question was, does emotion cause thought?
Yeah, it is both sides. Emotions can cause thoughts and thoughts can steer emotions. But it's not that one is more important or the other. It's they both have the equal amount of weight in whatever the fuck you're doing with your life. You can't regard more the thoughts or more the emotions. They have to be regarded equally important. And that's the whole point of what I'm trying to explain here. But it's it's not about understanding it really, but more about experiencing it. It's more about going out there and doing this thing and allowing your thoughts and emotions to start synchronizing. To allow both hemispheres in your fucking brain to start working in cooperation. Meditation is a good one, by the way. You wanna see like, I don't know if I can find it. Let me see. No, internet, fuck you. Okay, I can't find it. I just want to show you a picture from Google, but it doesn't matter. It's not important. Question. But at some point, it's like this thing happens. For me, that was like the highlight. Because I'm telling the girl that, listen, I really like you. I really want to get the fuck out of here, of this place, because I really don't like it. I really don't feel comfortable with it right now. I feel stressed. It's fun when I'm enjoying your company, and I want to get out. Can we please get out of this shithole together? It was actually a nice club. It was not a shithole. And it just doesn't work. And I'm getting frustrated, and I can't exactly understand the behavior. So my frustration just like keeps piling up. And unfortunately, I'm not being aware of it. I'm not actually expressing it. I'm not expressing that your behavior frustrates me, or I'm doing it maybe a bit, but not completely. I'm not being congruent to what is emotionally relevant. And then at some point I pop. This is like fucking explode. And it's like giving me something, like saying something, and I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up and listen to me. Why the fuck is it so hard for you to realize that a guy likes you? Why is it so freaking fucking hard for you to realize that I fucking like you? And then she's like, and then we go out. Like instantly, like after that, that was like the game over, and then it was like go out and do my place. But that was like basically for me the highlight of the video. Now I wasn't being very concise with my expression, but the emotion was there. Maybe it wasn't the best way, but the emotion was there. So emotionally it was quite accurate, but maybe verbally not the most concise way to express it.
Do you feel like stress is most caused by you not understanding your behaviors?
Stress is by you not being congruent, not expressing fully what you feel at all times. It's literally the dissonance between the thoughts and the logical part of the brain and the emotional part of the brain. Because the emotion is telling you that one thing is real and the thought is telling you that, according to what I know, that should be real. So why the fuck doesn't this make sense with this? It's because you need to double check with both of them. And how do you double check with both of them? You need to put both of them together, you need to force them to work together for you to express. And when you express is the point where they match. And the more you do it, the more bridges you create between the thoughts and the emotions to start working together. And the more you do it, the more bridges you create. And the easier it is next time for you to be in tune with your emotions and your thoughts. Yeah? Did it make sense?
Yeah, sure.
When you just express your feelings all the time, doesn't it kind of take away the fun of just going out and fucking around?
If you don't do it concisely, yes. If you just like keep repeating the same fucking 100 thing because you're not actually finding the root of it, yeah, it kind of like becomes tiring after a while. So that's where the concise comes in. But when you express your shittiness, let's say you feel shit in the beginning, because that's usually the case, the sooner you express it accurately, the sooner it goes away. If you guys like, you know, for me, like the first days I was doing games, like for me the best way was to get in state. I wasn't really ever technical, I was doing some technical shit every now and then, but I was like mostly like chasing states. If you like state game, this is the best way ever to get in state. This is the most efficient and the fastest way to get in state, get out of your shittiness, and start having fun. So there you go. This is the logic build to state. And having fun.
And another question is, because as you're expressing yourself all the time, there is like, she really knows you're interested in her if you hang out with her.
Yes.
Doesn't it take off a little bit interesting part that she doesn't really know, she's not completely sure you're attracted or anything is gonna happen?
What?
No, it's like it's
trust me, she knows you're attracted.
Okay,
What she doesn't know is if you're gonna be a bitch about it or not.
Okay, what I mean is that if I hang out with a girl and if it's like too obvious she likes me, I could be a little bit turned off.
Why? Have you actually told her that?
No, I haven't, but that could be interesting to try. But what I mean is like it's kind of a socially awareness that maybe not be too blatantly.
She gives you feedback, so you fix your own shit. You give her feedback, so she fixes her own shit. You get it?
Yeah, I get it.
If you give her feedback again and again and she doesn't get it, she doesn't get it. And then...
Gotcha. You want to say?
No.
Yes? Nothing? Did you solve the problem with your girlfriend? Do you know what to do right now? Look, can you actually like text me later, like tell me what happened? You will try it.
Yes.
Yes? Yeah.
But
Or you will wait until you break up?
What I said, it was example from before. It's
Yeah.
not going on now in my mind.
Okay, good. So, for those of you, is there anything else? Just to make sure. Last one or two questions, anything that is even. Is there anything, that's my favorite. Is there anything that is even like 1% unclear? Anything. Even 1% of what I said that is unclear. Something that you have a doubt about, something that you might maybe confused about, something you're not completely clear about, something that you don't know like how to apply this. Yes?
What when you feel approaching silence and you just want to go stand in a corner?
You express to the girl. Now his question is like, what if I can't even start? Take out your phone, go to the notes, and write like in one sentence, very concise, very short, very simple, very inclusive, and very accurate. Everything that is going on through your mind. So there is nothing, nobody to express it. Just take care of it by yourself.
It's okay. You can leave.
I thought it was funny. Yes?
If I remember correctly, in Social Crime, you used to talk about some things like screening a lot.
Oh, fuck them!
Yeah, but what was it that made you go from that to this?
Oof. Okay, I'm just trying.
Maybe that's outside of the scope of.
It's a good question. I just have to put it in a way that is concise. That is where you have to put the effort to make it concise. So I was talking about screening, right? It's the same thing with the whole pickup, and that's basically why most of pickup coaches have no fucking idea what they're talking about. And that is the same thing that happened back then. Is that I do something naturally. Maybe part of my brain is in tune. Maybe some of my emotions are in tune with my thoughts. My subconscious mental model, at least at some parts, is aligned quite well and it works. And for a lot of coaches, another part of their mental subconscious model, part of their thoughts and their emotions is actually quite well aligned. So they naturally go and do something that gets them happy, laid, results, whatever. And then what happens is they backwards rationalize why they think it worked and they offer it to you in a pickup product. So this is what the fallacy that we did back then in the day was, that I was naturally really good at least that part of my brain was very well aligned at reading some communications and understanding the girl's behaviors and shit. It was basically my empathy. It was like my natural fucking empathy. And then I backwards rationalized some sort of screening system which we put in the model. So even, back in the day we were teaching the same shit, but at 80%. And then the rest of the 20% was that screening and calibration part, but which was actually nothing more than a backwards rationalization of mine on how it actually worked for me naturally by my empathy. And what happened is it was contradicting the core of the concepts. It was contradicting the rest of the 80%. I mean, it was working quite well, but a lot of times students would get confused, and it just didn't fit.
What made you realize that that was happening? Because I guess for a while you were unaware, but at some point, did you suddenly realize this, or was it?
I just realized it.
Okay.
At some point, I just came to the realization like, we always, but this is the process of improving the program. We always look for those discrepancies, and we knew that there was something that was not fitting quite well, and that was. Eventually we figured out that it was a screening calibration part because it was contradicting the rest 80% of the core, which was basically this concept of being congruent and emotionally aware and expressing properly, right? And when we figured out that the discrepancy was there and that this backwards rationalization was contradicting the rest of the model, we just removed it. And the moment we did that, the moment we just removed the shit and we just kept this one simple, only holistic, universal, call it whatever thing, the student results just skyrocketed instantly. We did the switch from May to June. May was the last old immersion, and then June was the new version. We took away all the screening calibration, we left the core, the rest of 80%, and we changed some of the process and the tools that we used. We just upgraded some of the tools and the process. And it's just skyrocketed the results. Like instantly, it's like in a snap. It's just fucking crazy shit. So, since then, since June, we've been basically working with this core, with this one simple principle, and how to better and better, how to create a better and better definition of that principle of like honesty, and how to give you practical tools in everyday life. Oh, being more concise with the words, be careful with this and this and this, on how to make it more efficient, how to exert the least amount of mental effort and get the maximum return. Emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, in every level. You understand?
Yeah, no, good.
That's the contradiction. This belongs in the past. This is it.